Ba-bum-bum. All right. Y'all there? Do you hear me? Say yes. Do you hear me? Can you hear me? Say yes. Thank you, Madna Lab. You can hear me. Madna Lab can hear me. Looks like Kimberly Armstrong Glass can hear me, or at least she's saying thumbs up instead of yes. Gotta love the emoji waves. See the glare? Is it blinding you? Maybe y'all should start showing up with sunglasses for these Instagram lives. Okay. Boom. Close-up shot. All right. Great. Yes, yes, yes. We got the regulars here. We got Casey _Matthews _artist showing up, delivering the goods. I will wait just a few more seconds, and then I will start. What's going on? Everyone doing all right? Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Oh, a floaty little heart. Someone just did the little floaty heart that goes up the right side of the screen. I haven't seen a floaty little heart in a while. I know every now and then someone gets excited and they'll do like the colorful ones that float and just sort of dissipate along the feed, which is actually quite delightful as well. Just a whole bunch of colors. That one was sort of a clear one. Actually, a little variety. If any of you feel like doing a little variety with those dissipating hearts, that would be okay too. Sarah Artworks, hello. Okay. All right. We're here now. I've waited a minute. I'm going to get started, okay? So, really quickly, I have posted all of the recent videos that I've done here. They're on my website if you want to go watch them. If you missed one from last week or the week before, all these different topics that are available to help you. I've posted them on my website. If you go to howardsherman.com and you'll click on Live from the Studio, you can watch and learn, and maybe those things will help, okay? Another thing, there are a couple of recent videos from my current exhibition, which is closing on Saturday, and you can watch those videos if you click on the press page of howardsherman.com. So those are there. I gave a 5-minute tour of my show, and it's nicely produced. You can watch that. And then I had a ongoing, it's about 45 minutes, 48-minute discussion with an art critic in person at the show, where we walked through the show and had a really intriguing discussion about the work. That's on the press page of howardsherman.com too. It's Howard Sherman interviewed by Todd Camplin. So you can watch that too if you feel like it. I know some of you there's no way you're going to get to Foltz Fine Art in Houston, Texas for the show before it closes. And unfortunately, it's not the same, but it's the next best thing for you to watch the clips if you're interested in spending more time learning a little bit more about what I do and what I make. Anyway, that's about it for that. There's other stuff on my site, and there's other inside scoops. If you feel like getting on my email list, you'll learn more about that. So get on my list and find out about that stuff, because I don't always announce everything on social media. And if you'll go to howardsherman.com and click on contact and hit the black button. You'll subscribe and hit the black button to sign up. And that's how you do that. All right, I kept that stuff short and sweet. What I want to talk to you about, depending on the time, I have a second topic, and I may or may not get to it. It just sort of depends on how this first topic goes. But What I want to talk to you about is another something straightforward. I want to talk to you about studios today and studio space. And the reason I want to talk to you about that is because sometimes I hear people complaining about not having a good studio or not being able to afford a studio at all. Excuse me. And I just want to share a few thoughts with you regarding that. First of all, your studio is your own world. This is where you're the benevolent dictator. You get to decide, but you have to be in there working. I mean, there's no substitute for that. You can't just take a room and go, "This is my studio," and do nothing. Obviously, but you need to keep in mind that there's no right or there's no wrong in your studio. This is the place where you need to be open to surprise as well as humiliation. This is also the place for you to try whatever you want. So for some of you, your studio is only going to be a dining room table. In the beginning, your studio is only going to be a dining room table, okay? It might even be a dining room table in the very beginning that you clear off in the evening after you're done using it for other things. But some people have to start there. That's where you start. That doesn't mean that's where you end, but that's where you start. I know most of y'all on here are a little further along than that, but it's always a good reminder to even think about that, because I started at a table. It wasn't even my table. It was a table in a dorm room in college, and then a fraternity house for a little bit. Yes, that was me. And then I was drawing there, and then at the time I didn't know any better, but I went up and up and up, and before you know it, you've got really great studio spaces. And anyway, you need to remind yourself that some people's studio is a table, and some people's studio is a giant warehouse with all sorts of bells and whistles. It's the size of an airplane hangar. I've had both, okay? But you have to remember that either one will work if you're not afraid to work. And the more you work, you'd be surprised. The more you work, the more your studio space might change or improve or get better, Think about that. Think about that for a minute. I know it's simple. I'm talking about very simple things here. A lot of things I bring up are things you kind of already know, but half of you need to hear it from somebody else, or you need to hear it explained a certain way. I know that's the way for me. A lot of what I read is things I already know or I'm familiar with, but they need to be articulated in such a way that they resonate and they stick. That's how the world works sometimes, okay? That's how your brain works sometimes. But you need to be reminded of this. Anyway, you need to, when you're in your studio space, you wear look at what I'm wearing. I'm not worried about making a mess. I end up with paint all over me. At the end of the day, I clean up. I'm going to walk over here. Hopefully I won't lose my connection. You hear stories about artists putting on magician's hats in their studios. You hear things about people putting on weird outfits and costumes in their studios. There's no judgment. You do whatever the hell you want. Your studio can be messy. It can be neat. It can do whatever. I do notice that most people don't do well in a messy, unorganized space. I know an artist, personal artist, the space is chaotic and it slows down their process. They can hardly get anything done. They can never find anything. I'm a little messy. I'll show you. My space here, I'm going to turn my camera around and just show you part of it. I got a lot of unfinished work right now, but my space looks really messy, but there's messy piles, but I know where everything is. I spend very little time looking for things. There's sort of stations, even though it looks kind of messy, there's stations and they're spaced out. It's almost like my work. There's a controlled chaos going on in here. I know where things are. I don't have to spend a lot of time working things. I've got stations where I work on certain things. I didn't want to show you too much because it's a mess and I don't have a lot going on here. I don't have a lot of finished things going on here. So that's that. Anyway, wherever you are, dining room table, giant warehouse space, the size of an airplane hangar with a loading dock. I've had that too. I've had all kinds of spaces. I've had spaces where I made big paintings, but I couldn't even really back up from them. to really take a good look, and I made them anyway. How did I make them? I just made them. And a lot of times I'd take them out in the hall so I could back up into the main room and look at them. I'd walk them down a hall so I could back up and take a look, and then I'd take them back in and work on them some more. I just did whatever I had to do, okay? I've had amazing spaces, warehouse spaces with loading docks and great lighting and skylights. I've had shoe boxes, the space is the size of a shoebox. I worked in my parents' garage many years ago where I had nowhere else to paint. Everything and anything in between. Right now at the moment I've turned a living room and dining room of a 4-bedroom home into studio space, and it's working out quite well. It's not the greatest space I've had. It's not the worst space I've had. It's totally cool right now. It's fine. It's working, and I'm very grateful for it. Anyway, those are my thoughts on space. So most of the reason I brought this up today is because I get a lot of I get not a lot, but occasionally I hear complaints in person or via email from people who just complain that they don't have a studio. But it's really that's just an excuse for not working. It's just a lame excuse for not working. And it's just a lame excuse for letting your fear dictate to you how you're going to spend your time. That's it for that. Okay. And I think I'm going to save the other topic for another time. I did not get emails this week at all. And that's kind of strange because I've been getting emails from people about things they want me to talk about all the time. And so I don't know what happened with that. Anyway, against my better judgment, I'm going to close my eyes, take a deep breath. Okay. Send me some good questions. And I'll wait a minute. Did that help you, what I just said? Do you have any questions about studio space that I didn't answer? Anything specific? Did you find what I just said helpful? Yes? No? Do you want to send me an email about it? Anyone? Project Black period. I will sit down to my table again, as you should. Okay, some cool stuff. A good one just came in. James Farman, lights at night. I don't know. It depends on your situation. Do you mean should you use studio lights at night, or what do you mean by lights? You mean like clamp lights? I think people should. It's hard to work in the dark. I think people should be illuminated. I probably need to be working with more clamp lights in the evening. I end up working a lot at night, and I probably need to have more clamp lights situated than I do. I'm not using the best, most proper light. Ideally, there's some sort of track lighting going on, depending on I don't know what kind of bulbs you'd want to use. Everyone's very different about cooler or warmer light bulbs, and I'm not a lighting expert. I work a lot more at night than I ever intend to, but I also work in the day, and I keep the room flooded with as much natural light as I can. I really don't even know if I'm getting north light or not. You hear a lot of artists talk about north light. You hear a lot of artists talk about how they build studio spaces intentionally with north light. I have no idea what kind of light I've got. And I'm sure that there's an incremental effect on what I'm making because of that, but I don't find it terribly detrimental. But if you can kind of get a north light, natural light situation going, I generally think that the more natural light you got flooded in the room, the better off you are. And your comment wasn't really that specific. Lights at night, I don't know, Jamal Armand. Yes, lights at night, I guess. Okay. No, color, temperature, light. I don't know what you mean by that. Okay. You know, this is the thing. People start talking as if I know what they're saying. They don't send me complete questions. You need to be very clear and spell it out. Okay, good point. I see something I forgot, but I'd heard this before. I forgot. Dowell Trey, daylight bulbs are white to imitate sunlight. So daylight bulbs are the way to go for most people. Madnalab. I list all the materials I use below every image, so you can that answers that question if you spend a little time looking at images on my website or social media. Okay. Okay, Casey _ Matthews _ artist seems to be on top of her technical game today. I mean, not just today, but always. 5,000 to 5,500,000, 5,000 to 5,500K is a neutral white light. Good. Did y'all hear that? Thank you, Casey _ Matthews _ artist. 5,000 to 5,500K is a neutral white light. That's a good one. Okay, so the way I look at my work doesn't change that much between looking at it at night or not looking at it at night. I mean, you're going to see, if you take a break from looking at your work and you come back to it and look at it in natural light, there's probably things, no pun intended, that are going to be illuminated to you that may not be otherwise. But when you're intimately invested in what you're doing and the materials that you're working with, sometimes you can catch things regardless of whether it's daytime or nighttime or what the lighting is like in the studio. Which is another way of saying, sometimes you're very in tune with what you're doing. Sometimes you're too close to what you're doing. Sometimes you need to take a break, walk away, get a cup of coffee, come back with fresh eyes. Right? Right. Okay. I'm looking. Okay. I'm not showing everything. Everything's unfinished. Okay, here's another. This is getting away from light, but I think it's something else. Okay, Jamel Armand, do you have any tips to really thicken your paint so it feels more like cement? I tried heavy gel mediums mixed with marble dust, but still doesn't feel thick enough. I'm assuming when you say that you're working with acrylic paint. I do work with a lot of acrylic paint. Well, okay, a lot of heavy gel mediums will literally thicken the paint. So you're going to get the paint thicker. The marble dust, I would think, would be one of many different ways to sort of make it feel thicker and drier, which is sort of the texture of cement, I'm guessing. I've obviously imitated the color of cement, but I haven't really tried to make the paint necessarily feel like cement, although I think that's a really interesting idea now that you mention it. I wouldn't have used marble dust with acrylic, although that makes sense. I would have found one of their mediums that recreate that. But that would be, I don't know what's more expensive if you're buying marble dust. I guess you could buy marble dust in an art supply store. So I don't know if it's more expensive to buy marble dust or to actually find one of their mediums that recreate that. But really, what you just said, Jamal Armand, seems to me like that would be the solution to get that sort of texture and look. And if you really want it to look like cement, then make the color make that color too. You know, essentially come up with that sort of that sort of lighter gray that you see most of the time. Every now and then you see it darker, but I feel like that's how I would do it. If you said, hey, how can I make something with the texture of cement with acrylic paint? I would do what you just said you're doing. And maybe you need to try a different heavy gel medium. But I would get one of those heavy gel mediums. Maybe you need a matte one that's not glossy. But they also have, like Golden, I think Golden's and Nova, the better paints like Golden, Nova, maybe Liquitex. I mean, I'm looking here. I've got a thing right here. Boom. This is a color chart and this is a color chart from Nova Color. I use Nova. And down towards the bottom, they have their lava gel. Oh, do you see it? They have their, free plug for Nova. Didn't intend this. They have a lava gel, they have a lightweight texture paste, and then they have a texture paste. They actually give you a little sample that you can touch here. Some of you freaks will want to lick it too, but I'm not judging. Anyway, that's all I can say about that. I don't know why it's not doing what you want it to do cement-wise. I don't know, Jamal. Try Nova. Try Golden or Nova. Try buying a small container of one of those other gels. I'm not sure why Liquitex didn't work. Sarah Scribner. Hey. All right. Anything else? I think that's about it for today. I hope I helped. Watch the other videos I've put up. I think they'll be helpful. Okay, I'll talk to y'all later. Signing off. Bye-bye. Send me some emails with some questions of things you want me to talk about. Okay, thanks. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.